colleagues. Hi friends, hello, hi, how are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. So, first of all, my new chair, say hi. I didn't put it together right. I have to wait till my boyfriend comes home to fix it. But I'm gonna set it for now. Isn't it cute? It's a little it's called the executive chair. I love it. So that's the first and foremost thing. Second of all, I'm really excited about today's video. I'm excited to talk to you guys about this topic. And I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say about this topic. It's something I wanted to talk about for a while. So let me just start. I made a video back during Columbus, which was like 3 months ago now, almost 4 months ago, where I talked about makeup marketing I hate. And it was a really good time to do that video because there were so many consumeristic, annoying videos about makeup marketing going on during Christmas. It was actually a collab with Abby Williamson, who I live for. And then I was kind of thinking about it and I was looking at everything that was going on in the beauty space lately. And beauty space. It was Twitter. I was looking at everything that was happening on Twitter and I was just kind of like, I want to talk more about this because there's one brand in particular that I'm just kind of like, what are you doing? Like, why do you think this is good marketing? And then there's a couple other brands I'd like to talk about. Some stuff that actually just happened before I started filming that I'm gonna throw in here. But yeah, let's just jump right into it. No. So the first thing I obviously want to talk about, and I think is gonna be kind of the main focus of this video, is Beauty Blender. So Beauty Blender put out this like meme, if you want to call it that. I wouldn't, but if you want to call it that, you can. I'm sure Beauty Blender wants to call it that. So they basically posted this meme where they said, it's like in quotes, this, can I copy your homework? And then it says, yeah, just change it up a bit so it doesn't make it look obvious you copied, and then okay. And then it's a picture of the Beauty Blender next to the Real Techniques sponge. It's been a while since I've seen a brand do something this cringy and this kind of like, what? So I just kind of wanted to talk about it, see what you guys think. This isn't like a major deal or anything, but it's kind of an interesting marketing technique. We're seeing a lot of marketing techniques where people are like clapping back at other brands and trying to be like savage to get clicks and retweets and stuff. This, however, completely backfired. I really think makeup companies need to realize that they're not Wendy's. Whoever runs the Wendy's Twitter account is a genius, but these people are not that. This isn't really funny. It just kind of made everyone be like, yeah, you turned those little like triangular wedge things into a circle and charge people $20 for it. And all of these other companies were smart enough to do the same thing, but charge people so much less. And that's basically the gist of, I think I even tweeted at them and was like, your sponge is literally I was like, your sponge is literally $20. It's so overpriced, nobody's gonna buy it. And I think some people, I had some responses to that tweet where some people genuinely were like, no, I like the Beauty Blender better. I personally have never liked the Beauty Blender. I've had like 2 and they've never been anything good. I love my Sonia Kashuk sponges and I also love the Beauty Bakery sponges that I just got. Those are 2 that I really love that would technically be copies of the Beauty Blender. But to pretend that like what they did when they created the Beauty Blender is like original and that because it's the original, it's worth $20 is absurd. That was kind of weird. I saw that and I was just like, man, they really think they're like Jeffree Star Cosmetics and they can just shade other brands. Like, I really think that's what they think. I think these brands don't realize that when they have the reason that like the Wendy's thing works and the reason why Jeffree Star clapping back at people works for his brand is because there's a personality behind that. Like Wendy's, even though there's not technically a personality, there's like the girl, you have like the picture of who is like, there's like that kind of personality behind it. It's become, like the Wendy's Twitter account has become famous for doing clapping back type stuff like that. Beauty Blender, this is just probably some intern's idea. Like they were sitting at a meeting and they were just like, you know what'd be funny? You know, this is working for Jeffree Star. Let's throw some shade at Real Techniques. The brand that's probably crushing us in sales because they provide the same exact thing that we do except significantly cheaper. Let's throw some shade at them, see how that goes over. This really backfired, but what I was even more surprised by is they doubled down. They didn't just, like this tweet got the responses under it. The first one just says, honestly, ... suck my butt. And that's one of my subscribers. So like, hi Jackson, love you. Whoever thought this was a good idea is going to get fired. You didn't invent sponges. That's like calling other makeup brands out on designing different makeup or makeup brushes. Don't be unprofessional, just own your own game. I agree, this was so petty and unnecessary. Don't play those brands like that. Somebody wrote, y'all have a lot of balls to post this when you release that 50 Shades of Beige foundation range. Basically every single tweet responding to this is just bashing Beauty Blender. They kept the tweet up, which is interesting, but then they really doubled down, and this is what I really wanted to talk about, because they didn't only tweet this. This is now their marketing campaign. The first they posted a picture where it was like the Real Techniques sponge cut along with the Beauty Blender sponge being cut, and they tried to show that like the Beauty Blender sponge doesn't soak up as much product as the Real Techniques sponge, even though both just soaked up product. And also, like, not to be all annoying, but like they could have just put 10 times the amount of foundation on the Real Techniques one. They're not exactly known for being unbiased when it comes to their products, so that picture was completely useless. But not only that, I don't even follow Beauty Blender. There's an Instagram advertisement for Beauty Blender going around right now that is these same images posted that you can like scroll through and click to buy the Beauty Blender. This is legitimately now how they are advertising their product. They have gotten so they have to be so, this is just brings up the point for me that like they have to be so desperate with sales, that they are now trying to bash other brands in order to sell their product. That to me sounds desperate, to be perfectly honest. My opinion would be maybe instead of coming out with a new color for the same product every 6 months, you expand and do something different, maybe create different shapes. I don't know. They've been expanding into like their complexion products, but we all know how that turned out. Like it turned out terrible. It's interesting to see. I think it's weird because it almost is like, it's funny because they sell the most expensive sponge. So I think they want you to think, and they just released this new one that's like the Beauty Blender Queen. It's the same pink Beauty Blender, but with a crown packaging. Not even like there's a crown on the Beauty Blender. The outer packaging that you throw away has a crown on it. And that's their newest like launch, is this Beauty Blender Queen situation. So it's interesting that a brand that tries to kind of portray themselves as like better than you, regal, like really bougie and expensive. Like this is, sure it's $20, but it's so much better than the rest. It's like you have to have it. It's so bougie. It's so interesting that they are doing one of the most tacky marketing techniques that I've ever seen in my life. It's fascinating. Yeah, I don't know I want to know what you guys think about that one, because I really was like, I feel like makeup marketing is getting so interesting to me. I used to be a communications major like my first 2 semesters at college when I was 18, and I didn't learn a lot about communications, but I did learn a few interesting marketing techniques, and also even in my classes now learn a lot about business, but we learn a lot about customer service, because as a social worker, you're working with clients one-on-one a ton, and it's really, really important to have good customer service when you're working with clients. That's just kind of a thing. So it's interesting to me to see brands throw out the more traditional ways of marketing that we've seen and going down these ventures of being like the petty comeback queen and thinking that that in the long run is going to go well for them. I don't know. Let me know. Do you think this is just something stupid that like everyone overreacted to? It is. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like this is irrelevant, but it's just kind of an interesting way that we're seeing the market trend now towards being this like sassy queen. And in reality, I don't think that's something that's going to last. I don't think there's longevity to that. I think personally it makes most brands, because most brands don't do it right, just makes them look really immature and dumb. And that's how I feel about that. Beauty Blender, thank you so much. Try again. I will never buy from you guys anyway, because your sponges are overpriced and all you do is change the color and you come out with crappy foundation lines. But that's just that on that. Okay, the other thing I wanted to talk about, which actually just happened, like I don't really know so many details, but I'm interested to see what you guys think about this, because this was kind of a differing approach. Instead of being sassy and combative with their customers and trying to shade other people, there's a an indie brand called Menagerie Cosmetics. They were formerly known as Makeup Monsters Cosmetics, and they recently like rebranded, and they posted this like really long Instagram caption. I'll put it up here if you guys want to read it. I have like, she deleted it already, but put it up here, and I just want your guys' thoughts on this. So she basically states that she feels as though her company is not really thriving. She feels like she has 25,000 followers on Instagram and she doesn't feel like they're supporting her. She feels like her brand is kind of dying. She kind of laments about the fact that couldn't do a palette that she really wanted to do because she just wasn't getting the engagement that she needed, and just kind of talked about a bunch of different things. And to me, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not trying to be rude, and because I'm a smaller influencer and I never want to trash a brand that's small and just starting out and obviously is having some issues, but as some just constructive criticism from a person who does social media and like learned about it somewhat, the way that it came across was definitely felt like she was blaming her followers for not buying her products. I don't think that's what she intended it to be, but that's definitely the way that it came across, 100%. It just came across as her kind of blaming people for not buying. When in reality, I think the problem with Menagerie Cosmetics, I've never bought anything from them just because nothing they've come out with recently has interested me, but I have friends, all of my friends actually, who live for their stuff and love their palettes, love their liquid lipsticks, and I know when they rebranded from Makeup Monsters to Menagerie Cosmetics, which was like an interesting move for such a small brand. I think rebranding is kind of a tricky thing to do unless you're really, really well established, and even then it's kind of tricky. I think the transition just didn't go as well as maybe the owner had hoped for, or she didn't anticipate the problems that might happen, because when they transferred over from Makeup Monsters to Menagerie, there wasn't really any new products coming out. The products that did come out, I know the Feral palette had some issues where some of the shades they felt like were wrong for the palette and they had to replace them, and like it just kind of seems like they've been having a tough time logistically with their company, and it sucks and it's unfortunate, but when you're a small company and there's so many, you know, there's so many companies that you're competing with, if you're gonna have those issues now, it doesn't give people a lot of faith in your brand. And also I think there's been problems with that's personally why I haven't bought from them, is I think it's a little too overpriced. I think their makeup sounds really good and it sounds great. I love that they're vegan and cruelty free. I love that they support things, you know, that are great. But their products are just kind of overpriced, especially with the shipping that you have to pay. I know I'm American and like people always give me crap for talking about the shipping, but it's true. Like it was a little overpriced. It's just interesting because I feel like we run into this issue time and time again with smaller brand owners. You have these bigger brand owners who are just fearless. Like they do not care if they're gonna piss you off with their posts. Like they'll just post whatever they want because they're established and they don't care. What I think we're seeing with smaller brands now, especially as there's more of a resurgence in smaller indie brands, a huge thing we're seeing is these makeup companies, they don't know how to post on social media. They just don't. I wish that like new business owners who are in makeup especially would just take like one PR class and learn how to approach social media, because it can really make or break a brand. I think after seeing that post, I'm personally a little turned off from the brand, because even though brands I know have difficulties, and I know brands that are small like to be honest with their audience about what's going on, it is not a consumer's fault or a consumer's responsibility to make sure that your business thrives. That is completely on you. It has nothing to do with the consumer. I can understand in the heat of the moment being upset that a palette didn't work out, you know, just feeling emotional about something, but the response to that should never be go to your private Instagram page that doesn't have all of your customers on it and vent about that to your friends and family. Your consumers, at the end of the day, you are just another brand, and your consumers don't care. I hate to say it because I feel like it sounds really rude and like crass. Try to guilt your fans into buying more makeup from you so you can like stay afloat is never, ever, ever, ever going to be a good marketing technique, ever. I don't really care if you're on like your last leg or like what's going on. It's just never going to work, and blaming the consumer is always going to backfire. It's the same thing when YouTubers try and like blame their subscribers for like letting a video flop, or, you know, not letting, if a video's not performing well, they're like, what happened? Like, why did you guys let it flop? It's like, well, maybe, sweetheart, maybe you just didn't produce a very good video that day and not everybody wants to watch it. I know it sounds insane. And that's kind of how I felt when I saw that post. I was just like, sweetie, maybe people just aren't into what you're doing right now. Maybe you just gotta work harder. It sucks and it's unfortunate, but that's kind of how life is. Like, not even just social media and YouTube and makeup and everything. Like, if you're in this business, if you're in business, your problems are not your consumers' problems. Does that make sense? Just felt like that was really interesting. And I've seen this with other smaller brands. Like, I've seen them try to almost like guilt us into feeling like we should buy from them. And I understand the whole, like, you know, I'm a small one-person show, I'm an indie brand, I do this all by myself, so I need your support, like, because if you want to support small businesses, support me. I can understand that kind of like angle to go at it from, but to be like, well, I couldn't do this palette because you guys didn't buy my stuff, that's never the way to go. And it was an unfortunate situation, I think. It was really, really unfortunate. I actually like kind of felt bad. And I know she posted, I just found out actually that she posted something on her Instagram stories after she deleted the post, basically apologizing. But unfortunately, and this is kind of what I learned after the whole Lashes by Lena situation, which I talked about in a video for a while back, like a few months ago, the Lashes by Lena situation where she said some really awful stuff to her consumers and made some terrible posts that were really unprofessional. Unfortunately, when you're that small and you're not established, people move on very quickly. You don't have as many chances as, say, like Beauty Blender. You just don't. It's kind of interesting looking at the two different ends of the spectrum, because I think it's sad in a way, but it's also like, no, it makes sense. You're not as established. You can't get away with doing unprofessional things like that in a way that other brands can. So I thought that was interesting. Let me know what you guys think about that down below too, because I definitely found that to be a super, super interesting thing that happened today. I wish these makeup companies, these indie brands, would just get personal accounts. Tons of influencers have like Finstas. Like, just get a private account and post whatever you want, but like, don't post it to your audience or your buyers because you just look unprofessional. It's ridiculous. So those were the only two big things I wanted to talk about today. I feel like you could talk about so many things that have been happening with makeup marketing lately, because it's just insanity. It's just ridiculous. But that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. I'm sorry if this video is a little bit shorter. I have a really, really big video planned for Saturday. I'm organizing and like cleaning out my entire closet, and I'm like Marie Kondo style when I'm filming all of it for you guys. So the next couple videos may be a little bit shorter, but I just thought it'd be fun to sit down and talk about some crazy online marketing stuff that happened. I love you guys so, so much. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, or just like, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're watching me. Thank you so much for being here. My merch, my social media, and everything I'm wearing on my face will be linked down below. And yeah, I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!